Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Immergence Show. I'm so excited for today's episode. We are going to have a conversation tackling something huge, something that affects every brand, designer, and technologist watching right now. We all know the fashion industry is broken. Production cycles are painfully slow, waste is out of control, and brands are struggling to keep up with the digital revolution. But what if technology, 3D workflows, automation, and AI could actually fix it? That's the question we're diving into today. And to help us break it all down, we have two incredible voices leading the charge in this space. Our guest today, Luis, is a true innovator who's building a real world solution that bridges the digital and physical fashion, streamlining the production and redefining how fashion is made. And I'm thrilled to introduce our new co host, Yemi Scott, my lovely friend. She has been at the
Hey.
forefront of fashion design, 3D couture, and gaming fashion, and now AI powered innovation. Her perspective with Lewis are all going to be what industry is leading now and is heading and is one you don't want to miss. This is going to be a game changing discussion, so stick around till the end. You won't want to miss. Let's get it started. Thank you so much for both of you being here. I'm so honored to have you both. Louis, why don't you introduce yourself and then we go to Yummy? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. I don't know if Louis can hear me, but okay. So, Yemi, maybe you can start. Um, okay, let me make sure we bring Louis in the stage. I think we have some technical difficulties. There you go. All right, you're back.
I
All
can
right,
see you guys. Yeah.
Yemi, introduce yourself, and then we go to Louis.
All right then. Hi everyone. My name is Yemi Scott, and as Nico said, I am a Web3 evangelist, just like Nico. I think the first time Nico and I met was when we were working together on Digital Fashion Week, New York, back in 2022. And we worked together, and Nico was deploying a metaverse where we were supposed to showcase our fashion. And since then, I have always worked within fashion, digital fashion, not luxury fashion. I love making clothes for avatars. I also run a startup called Exorology here in Scotland, where we help businesses to start to integrate Web3 solutions to start to optimize. Also, one of the things that I am doing is I sit on the team for the DPP UK, that's the Digital Product Passport UK, and we are working on starting to pilot DPP solutions within the textile industry here, and to also start to drive that circularity within the industry. So that's what I
Sorry,
do.
Yemi, we are having a hard time hearing you. I think your mic might have a problem. I don't know what's going on today. We have so many technical issues, and it seems like Louis had to refresh her screen as well. Hopefully, we'll figure it out. We're talking about technology. We have to figure out the
We keep
technology.
going.
Yes, yes. All right. So hopefully she will be back in a second. Um, I don't know if she's gonna try through her phone. um, all right. So Yemi, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you think about the fashion industry? You know, you've been in this space, and why do you think it's broken? What do you think is missing?
Ooh, where do I start from? I think my first gripe with the fashion industry would always be the issue with the greenwashing. Um, when people see me, they're always like, "Oh, you're so fashionable." I'm like, "Yeah, but I don't like the fashion industry that much. They haven't really done the best with what they've got." I am Nigerian by birth, and I lived in Nigeria, so I saw the waste firsthand, the second-hand landfills of just discarded clothing coming in from the first world countries, the developed countries, on the guise that they are helping Africans to stay clothed, but unfortunately, it's just becoming waste. And that is the problem. Fast fashion has always been the issue. And the thing is that Africa always had clothing. Like, we were clothed before the colonizers came and then, and invaded. But the thing is, the fashion industry has gone on to become big big, I don't know if to call it like a store, because we keep producing and we keep consuming, and there's nowhere we're not recycling, we're not upcycling. So to me, the problem with fashion industry is that we just need to
Oh, Yemi, we can't hear you again. I don't know what's going on with your audio.
okay now.
It's like, you kind of like going far and far, and then you're like, oh no, Yemi, where did you go?
Come back.
It's so weird. As Ian says, it's like Murphy's Law had entered the conversation.
I know, right?
I mean, it's weird. Our guest is having a hard time getting in. I don't understand what's going on. But we're here. We're gonna make it work. Hey, Fatima, Jean, Ian, amazing phone. Yeah, I mean, we're just trying to make things work. But yeah, this is interesting when technology is not playing to work. All right, so you talked about the waste, and what has been like the motivation for you to come into the 3D fashion, gaming fashion? Tell us about your story there. How did you get into that space?
So my journey into 3D fashion started. It started actually, or I stumbled into it during my masters. It was back in 2015. I was doing my masters in digital media. Hi, Louise, she's back.
Hi, I'm back.
Oh my God, yay!
Welcome back. We missed you.
Oh, thank you. So I can't change my screen to black. But anyway, there we go.
It's okay.
Thank you that you're back. So Yemi, finish your story before we go to Louis. I know it's been
awesome. Yes, because Louis is the star of the show. I'm not going to steal the spotlight.
No, you're all stars, and this is a very friendly conversation. So yes, tell us what made you think. I know you started in the fashion industry also very early. So what made you come to the 3D space and beyond?
Okay, so yes, I think I was back in 2015. I was doing my master's.
Oh no! Now your audio is. Oh my God! Today is so funny. Oh my God!
We're only 8 minutes in, and we've had so much technical issues.
It's never been like this before. Okay, Yemi, maybe you figure out if you can switch your audio to something else.
I will do that, yes.
Now we're going to go to the That's some break.
It's okay, go.
Sorry.
Often my computer freezes at this time of day. I think it's something that happens in the area. And anyway, hi.
All right.
Back on my phone. Very good.
Louis, please tell us your story while Yemi fixes our mic. And we have amazing community in the chat with us. Ian, Paridi, Fatima, everyone else, Jean, who is tuning in. We're so grateful for you all. And thank you for your patience with tech challenges. We're talking about how tech is going to fix the fashion industry.
Yeah, hi everybody watching. So glad that you tuned in. And apologies for the technical issues. So yeah, my background is in fashion industry. It started off doing supply chain production and product development for Rees, and then I was like an executive at Burberry and was really responsible for all of the forecasting, managing the product development, production, supply chain. And Then I ended up being the CEO of Shrimp. So I started as a consultant to build their business, and then was there for 5 years making, we grew it from like one product category to like several. And then in my spare time, I also helped launch several startup brands, like from, I guess, concepts to fully fledged businesses, or early stage businesses, and help them grow. And yeah, we still help people with digital twin, but really like the main thread of all of this, all of the problems within the fashion industry was the same, whether I was at a corporate company, whether I was working with startups, even worse, or whether it's like managing cash flow and raising money for shrimps. It's to do with the long lead times, the fact that you have to tie cash up for six months before you can even get the stock. That makes profitability and sustainability very, very hard, because you're constantly trying to predict what customers want. And of course we don't know. And I did that for a living, like for years and years. And, we would use our best educated guess, systems, sales, but we don't have a golden crystal ball. We just have to guess, and this is a big problem, because we don't know what customers want. And then you have big epidemics like COVID, and that really highlighted the problem to me, because everyone I was working for had no money, and they're all sitting on stock that they couldn't sell. And it was during this time when my teenage daughters, who weren't teenagers then, were constantly on Roblox, that I saw the prospect of, and the opportunity for digitization, and how we could digitize first and then make on demand. And that means that, of course, we're making what customers want, not what we think they want.
Yes, that's so important and true. And so that you think that with digital fashion and this 3D tools, we can basically be more on demand while we are tuning in to what they want, right? Like the speed is now much faster, right?
Yeah. So what we did at Digital Twin was there's obviously other problems, because we've helped lots of brands and small businesses get to market faster, and like launch fashion collections. It's very expensive. There was one company that we helped grow, and it cost almost £300,000 to get them to a state where they were fully fledged in production, with lots of stock, marketing, team, and then of course you don't know if it's going to sell or not. Like, this is the fun,
Yeah.
so we thought, how can we kind of get people to market in a more cost effective way? So we invested in 300 patterns that are all suitable to be able to print it automatically on demand, all in 3D. And we thought, these can be used by anybody, and they can be automatically turned into production at very minimal cost. Say, for example, a traditional fashion collection could cost 50,000. We could do it for 5. And we, instead of taking 9 months to do this, we could do it within 3 weeks.
Wow.
And this is where we were heading with Digital Twin. We work with lots of 3D designers. Now we're really working in the gaming industry with big gaming companies and gaming creators who want to and see the opportunity really with the digital production. Like, for example, we launched in November first digital collection with one of the biggest Roblox creators that exists, called Who's Trade. He sold 40 million virtual items, and we replicated his best-selling items, and we sold them physically. And we've built our own e-commerce, which is available for gaming companies, brands, to be able to connect directly with our supply chain, and then we can ship directly, take the orders, ship directly to their customers. And it's a service for them because, especially with gaming and these like more kind of, I guess, maybe industries where companies have just done like basic print on demand, or there's not really the ecosystem for them to be able to do something like cool connected digitally. So that's what we're providing.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing the overview. Yemi, if you want to add anything, I would love to hear from you. What do you think about what Louis just mentioned?
Oh, I mean, everything that you said is how we hope that the world sees it. Like this makes sense. Technology makes sense when it comes to driving that circularity within the fashion industry. I mean, yes, the first front loading cost might seem a bit steep, but in the long run, the value is immense. Just being able to cut down that production time, that value that is saved by the designer, and allowing them to be able to also source sustainably for the textiles, whatever it is they're going to use to produce. I mean, it makes absolute sense. You would think that every fashion brand will be running to get on digital twin to want to do this as well and get their brands where they should be.
I mean, I think it's also, so when I first started Digital Twin, coming from a brand background, I knew the complexities of trying to push on demand to them, because having managed supply chain, especially for big corporate companies, the compliance, the CSR, everything is very, very rigid. You have to go through so many checks to be able to use a new supply chain. It could take a year or two to onboard with a corporate company, and so there's always going to be resistance. And so we went for the least resistance, which is really gaming, and I think that's where we're seeing the traction now, because they have a very different, more agile mindset. They want to test digital products, but they don't want to incur lots of waste. And they're Gen Z, they're Gen Alpha. They actually, like, I was speaking to a big Roblox creator yesterday, and I said, we do everything on pre-order because, okay, we have like this streamlined flow through to production for like all over prints and t-shirts, but like if we do plushies, if we do key rings, if we do like jewelry, we can develop that very quickly, like in 15 days, but actually to do production would probably take 4 weeks, and to ship it is 2. Just say to the customers, like, this is going to be there with you in 6 to 12 weeks, maximum 12 weeks. But the point is that, this generation are really, they think differently. Of course, there's fast fashion where people want things now, but there's also a collectible mindset where they want something that's exclusive and they're prepared to wait for it. And I think this is the real kind of profitable, sustainable avenue, because once your product development costs are obviously covered, the rest is just like it's pure income. There's no risk because you're making it as a pre-order. And this is what really excites me. But of course, brands can't offer clothing for people in 6 to 12 weeks. They're running a business where it's on demand, where it's like it's on, buy now, wear now. They expect it to be delivered within 24 hours on an e-commerce store. So it's a slightly different concept of brands. But we can talk about brands later with Figen, because that's
yeah, definitely. And I want to thank our amazing community. They're very engaged in the chat. We see you. You're doing amazing. Ian, Havo, thank you for being here. Juliana, Pramish, everyone who's tuning in live, they're putting a lot of great comments on what you all are sharing. So yeah, we will definitely get into the questions as well. And I know that Yemi, not only you have also kids that are in this age of playing at these platforms, but also you were one of the early ones who created assets for these games and environments. What is your perspective? Like, what do you think someone like Louis can do to make things better for the industry?
She's already doing it. Well, technically, she's already on the path to doing it, which is providing these alternatives in the way that you actually produce fashion. And hopefully, I think it's going to get adopted. Either it's whether it's through the bills that are coming out in the EU for the digital product passport, and they're going to be targeting the textile industry first, and it's going to come live in 2027. That's literally just 2 years down the line, and this is, it has to be scalable. Again, it has to be scalable. Everything that we do, it's already scalable. I mean, hear what Louis said now. We can literally move hasten production and cut it down that significantly. Yes, it sounds like magic woohoo, but that's what technology affords us to do, which is we're able to optimize our production, our supply chain, and also add that traceability because we have assets. So for me, it's like, I've been a gamer since I was 7. I've always wanted, and I'm a GTA diehard fan. So I'm waiting for GTA 6. My whole idea is the future of gaming should be able to have user-generated content where people are able to purchase from their favorite digital brands in game, and then be able to also own those items eventually over time, and giving the designers time to actually go sourcing. Oh, you're going to get it in 12 weeks. Definitely means that you're working with some local textile suppliers or something, or you're working on a sustainable route. And that for me is a win-win for me. Like, wait for it. It doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg like the luxury fashion has made us believe for so long. As long as you have that accessibility and that.
Oh, we lost your audio again, Emmy. Like, oh no. It's so funny. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, just saying that. I mean, she's already on the path. We're hoping that this becomes scalable and everybody adopts it quickly so that they can join us on the fun train of owning digital assets.
Yes, yes.
I just to add on that as well, you mentioned about the creative industry and UGC content creators. This is, this started off with Instagram and everybody being able, not anybody, but like, obviously there's lots of successful Instagrammers that are all creating UGC content and getting very well paid for it. And now this is heavily in Roblox. This is the sort of UGC creator platform of the world, and it's fascinating because what it's doing is enabling anyone to be a creator that has a different skill to maybe a fashion designer. And what's really intriguing me is that it's about like how a brand resonates with their audience. They know what their they think they know what their customer wants. But with a UGC creator, again, they're much more in tune with their audience. And say, for example, like, it's not just like taking a brand, putting it into Roblox, creating digital assets of things that sell the best in real world and hoping that they'll sell well in the virtual world. I mean, that does happen and things do sell well in the virtual world. But I think it's more, we're talking now with different gaming development companies about how we can almost create like a subset of product categories that are more suitable for Gen Z and Alpha, that resonate with them more, that are something that's like, there's physical products here, there's virtual products here where you can be on fire, you can have water dripping out your head, but there's the Venn diagram, the part in the middle that's the real digital space. And we're like really focusing on what this is, how, what do they want? Like, it's got to also be affordable. Like, if a luxury brand puts virtual items in, they're not going to be able to afford to buy the digital item, the physical item. They don't have £300 for a Tommy Hilfiger sweater.
Yep.
So true. It does need it needs more thought as well, especially from the brand perspective. But I think from the UGC creator perspective, it's brilliant because it's breaking down these boundaries and it's enabling everyone to be a creator. And I'm really for that.
That's amazing. And I want to talk about the different stakeholders that you collaborate with, Louis, because you mentioned you work with designers, you work with these gaming studios, I assume, you work with brands. I don't know who else is in this process, manufacturers, supply chain, probably. How did they all kind of react to this, adoption of these new technologies? What's some of the challenges? What are some of the lessons that you learned?
I think when we started off, I guess 3 years ago now, using 3D technology, and we found very early, like the best on-demand micro factories that are available. We went through probably every single one that exists, and there's not that many, honestly, in the world that are doing agile manufacturing, other than just like like basic, not boring, but like print on demand to blanks.
Yeah.
And the same with like agile small manufacturers in China. We have those now. We have them in India. We kind of made it our forte to find these partners that can do speed to market, that understand the concepts, that can do agile manufacturing, that are prepared to do small minimums.
Yeah.
And I think this has taken a lot of work. This has taken time. And then in terms of like onboarding, brands or gaming companies as well, we've been sort of, I guess, pushing the ball up the hill for quite a long time, talking about digital, doing lots of activations, working with Digital Fashion Week, working with 3D designers, doing events. It's not sort of just happened like that. It's taken time. And, we're sort of trying to position ourselves as a digital sort of leader with the ecosystem and the infrastructure to be able to, I guess, crack this at scale. Also, like, there's music. There's so much potential with music. Sports, we're not doing sports yet. But, there's pipelines that we have. I think are really, really interesting for digital gaming products, for licensed products. So it's been a lot of work to get to this stage.
I think the common denominator of all these areas is culture. You're basically into the culture and where all of this happening, and that's where younger generation wants to be seen and heard and get what they want. So Yemi, if you are back, feel free to add any comments, ask questions. I don't know if you can hear us.
Of course, I can hear you.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, because I did mention my love-hate relationship with the luxury fashion line. So how has it, affected, or how has it, led the way that you've gone into creating for, the digital twin? How has that experience, worked for you, having all of that background, that knowledge?
Well, it's fascinating, and I think it's work because I really understood what the problems were, and I came from it like I cannot be on my deathbed thinking that I've contributed to all this waste. So it's a real kind of comes from a passion of wanting to just, I don't know any other industry. I can't go and be, this is what I know. So it's like, how can we bring the skills that we all have and try to redevelop them in a way that might make a change or might make a difference? And anybody can do that watching this, because we're all all good at something. And I think that's was bringing this all together with digital twin. And then as we developed using 3D technology, and we have built these 300 patterns, and they're all in 3D, and we work with lots of 3D artists. We started to really understand the problems with 3D as well. So, let's look at the pros. Everybody probably watching this works in 3D of some sort and understands how great it is for visualization. It reduces sampling, lead times, but it's not built on, it's not engineered. So if we want to adapt our pattern, like it's a hoodie, if someone wants to make it longer or change the shape or add a pocket, we have to go back to the pattern cutters. They have to add the pocket, and then we have to re-upload it into the system. And likewise, we've worked a lot with great fashion designers, 3D fashion designers who design in 3D with surface texture. We then have to recreate that print separately in a high resolution that's good enough for printing. Or if we work with an AI designer, like anything created in Midjourney needs to be recreated within a high resolution output for printing at the factory. And so these were the main challenges that we saw with 3D and the workflow. Likewise, if we turn something from a digital 3D design into a Roblox game, it can take a day in Blender to be able to put that into the Creator Studio. It's not, none of it is an easy process. So yes, okay, it's like, I remember with 3D, the savior of eco fashion, that's when I started to really think about this, is it? And we go down, the route, and it definitely has helped, enormously, but it's not the sole savior because it's not streamlining workflows enough. Which is why then we, started on a journey with a company called Figen, which is trying to streamline the process from design to production.
And we are going through some of the slides that you've shared. Is this kind of like the process that, I mean, we can't really read the text, but really beautiful work that you all have done, with the, do you want to share anything about any of these slides? Anything you want to add?
I think if you go back to, problem slides. So this is the keynote that I gave at Leap last week. And we talk about, okay, like this is the collaboration that we did with Who's Trade, the gaming company. That's the next slide. And, we talked about the concept, but I think the successes of that was that it sold out in minutes. So, we bought a limited amount of stock, but the fact is, and it just kind of highlights, I think it's the next page, like the impact of like collectibles, how much these kind of,
NFTs?
The fans, well, they're not NFTs, but the fans won the physical item. Like it was very, very successful. We couldn't believe it, like how quickly it sold out. So this is, kind of, it's just a proof of concept to show that this is, in my mind, the future. But if you go on to the next one, this is another gaming company we're launching with this Friday. I'm not going to say too much because it's not been announced. So carry on.
Beautiful.
It's really nice, but it's like digital jewelry. It's going to be so cool.
That's amazing. And you guys have all the patterns and everything. Very cool.
I'm loving your library. It is so extensive.
Yeah. We have so many. These are like a lot of the digital and physical activations that we've done.
Yemi, what do you think? Is it like so good?
I am loving it because I'm very hyper realistic. I like my children to look like in real life. So hence I'm not a Decentraland fan. No fans to them. I just do not like. I'm like, fashion requires finesse. We need to be able to see textures, even if it's not real. I think for people like myself that also know how to construct garments and put garments together, for me, it's there's something tactile when it comes to fashion. Even if we can't see it, we need to be able to see some texturing, and this is really well done. I want to go into the technical aspect, but I don't want to go into the technical aspect because I'm like, what software are you using to do the rendering, and all of that? What the characters? They look very character creator-ish. Or let's not go in there. Let's not go in. I'm not getting there. If you don't want to let the secret out, it's okay. But I am.
No. We use Flow and Blender. That's all really. There's nothing hugely kind of innovative about what we did here. This is just Flow, and then Blender like created for the avatars, and then the rendering. And then, sort of building these like little virtual worlds. This was an activator. This is kind of our portfolio, but it's a video, so it's not playing here. And these are all of the I guess, the headway that we've made with digital twin, reducing speed to market, reducing costs, like changing from print on demand basic t-shirts to all over prints.
That's amazing. Very
And
cool.
then this is the problem that we still find, and this is why now we set up a company called Figen, where we're trying to automate the process from design to production, because even though we have 3D design, as we've just discussed, it's still visualization only. And the process is still very convoluted. It still takes time. We still have to update the tech pack every time we make a change. We have to redo the pattern every time we amend one of our patterns. We can't trust the 3D visualization to be correct if we shorten it or we lengthen it. And as we said, going from the design into gaming is still quite complex. It involves work in Blender. It just takes time. And so that's what we are now working on, in addition to digital twin, is how we can streamline this process for brands, really, and we'll use it with digital twin, so that if you do update a pattern, then within a 3D mechanism, that it's actually updated. But the only way to do that is by engineering the pattern and training it on what should happen if a pattern is changed. So it's completely sort of different concept to just 3D visualization. It's bearing in mind that design is for production, not just for visualization.
Nice.
And because we do production, this is our focus.
Beautiful. Yeah, Yemi, if you would like to add, feel free. We have to use more automation moving forward for sure. And I want to get into some of the comments, and then we can kind of get into the discussion, about AI maybe. So we have comment from Pavel, amazing. Roblox and the new digital marketplace will make such good FOMOs. Stickers, pins, and more ready access items are just about to make it move. Yes, totally. And then we have comments from Nova giving us love. Thank you for that. Juliana is asking, how can we scale on-demand systems to mainstream fashion brand?
That we can do through the automation. I mean, like, honestly, at the moment, it's really for all over prints on hoodies and t-shirts. The capabilities of dresses and shirts, yes, but simple. Like, if you think about these on-demand factories, they're really based on scalability, but simple products. So we can do this with APIs from fashion brands directly to the factory, or from us directly to the factory. We're already streamlined and automated with them. But product categories, for now, we have to be realistic. It's simple all over printed shirts, simple sportswear, just simple.
Yeah.
So it's already available for fashion brands if they want to do it, but fashion brands are also going to be challenged because the price is going to be more expensive. And it's a bit of a false economy with brands, because they want to have a high margin and they don't care so much about the waste that incurs at the end of the season, because everybody's KPIs, especially works in production, is on what margin you can achieve.
Wow.
And you carry over that stock on the balance sheet every single year, and that's an asset. So it's a little bit of fudging. It's not really true.
That's terrible. Yemi, what would you like to add?
I am listening to them like, yep, Louis, yep, all of that and more. And I can see that you're even holding back. Like, there is a lot going on. But yeah, I want to get into the AI part, because that for me is very interesting. Because I did an exhibition where I used AI to prototype just one collection, and only made one of that piece, but it was from an existing fabric. Now, so I know AI, I mean, depending on who is using what, how are you using it to feed into your own production system? Are you doing it from the ideation first before into production? Are you doing production, the physical into AI, and then prototyping, or prototyping from the AI into
Oh
the
yeah,
physical?
we didn't use much AI with Digital Twin. This is more really about like it's more about the automation from our the design configurator to the factory, which is automated and streamlined. There's not really, we don't use that much AI, but what we're building with FiGen, where we're trying to design streamline design to production ready pattern, we're using AI and ML there, but it's actually more ML than it is AI, and it's also like mathematics rather than I mean, there is a generative AI part where it's like prompt based. So say for example, you say you're a brand, right? Say you're a big brand, you have 250,000 patterns. The model would ingest those patterns. And then if you say, the designer says, oh, I want to create a hoodie with like a drop shoulder and I want it to be a bit oversized, it would then like search through all of the patterns that exist for that brand. And then it will allow you to modify that pattern in terms of like, I want that shorter, I want that longer, and then output something that's factory production ready. And that's the AI/ML part that we're building. It's not built, and it's complicated.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're dealing with innovative technology, it's not going to be straightforward. If it was easy, everybody would have done it.
Look, I talked last week at Leap, and I just be really honest. It's like we've been doing R&D with Alan Turing, who are an amazing institute. They have like 100 million funding from the government to try and solve AI solutions for innovative companies. And I'm not joking, honestly, it's taken like 4 or 5 months to get like a two fully coded hoodies. We call it coding the curve. It's just very complicated. And so now, we're looking at how we can scale this faster. We're looking at how we can stitch things up quicker. And it's going to take time. This is new technology, but like we see the roadmap. We know that this isn't going to happen this year. This will happen in the future. This is like the future vision that we start building now. There's another company building it as well. We keep pushing forward, but like anything, it's just going to take time to train these models.
I mean, you're doing amazing work. Just to give you an idea, when I started my fashion tech company doing virtual try-ons, that was back in 2019. And, virtual try-on has been around for even before that. And it's still to this day, we're still not seeing perfect virtual try-on. Like that AI ML part is a long way to go to get to a point that we can be like, yes, this is it, this is working. We can put it in front of any user, anyone who understands fashion deeply and feels comfortable about the outcome. So if we have been in the industry, we know we know what it takes. So don't give up. Kudos to you for even trying. A lot of people are so scared to even try. So you're one of the maybe less than 1% that is willing to try. And
thank you. And sometimes anybody else out there trying to build technology, like sometimes I just feel like, oh my God, why did I start this? Like this is like, you think you're doing great and then you hit hurdles and then you have to repivot and then things aren't always aligning. And especially, I'm not from a technical background. I understand you're relying on really technical people, but you're not also relying on one person. This is like you're relying on pattern experts, you're relying on AI ML experts, you're relying on academia, you're relying on gaming people developing, and it's like it's complicated. So anybody else out there. Yeah, I'm just going to admit it's really hard, but we're determined to make this happen.
Yeah, it will be all worth it. Yemi knows because she's been in this journey for too long, and we have been, doing different projects together, and we've been going through all these hurdles and talking about it and laughing at it, looking back. So it's like, it's just completely
Crying about it. You forgot to add that part.
Yeah, and I know I was speaking to a big fashion brand today, huge fashion brand, and I said to them, look, honestly, like I really just think we'll have one product category ready. And they're like, God, I just appreciate you being honest. Actually, come and say to us that actually we can like train every single product category in the world and parameterize it and be able to. It's not going to happen. Like we just start with one product category and make that work. Like an MVP is a minimal viable product. It shows that even just one product could work. Really,
Yeah.
I think that's just being very honest about like proving out a pipeline.
I can't agree more. Like, focus is everything when you are doing something so complicated. For us, for example, when we started Retro Try-ons, we decided to focus on dresses and just bridal. Because
Yeah,
if you really make it too broad, it's just becomes more complicated and almost impossible to do anything.
yeah,
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 Don't try doing pants.
what is that?
I don't try doing pants with virtual try-ons. They're not going to look nice.
No, pants are bad. And I think it's also the tracking with the VTOs as well, isn't it? It's like when you move your body too much and then part of it is missing. But it's also the expense. Like we did quite a lot of snap VTOs and they were expensive and they were also patchy, but they're fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's like any other technology. It's very experimental at this point. And even though it's been worked on for many, many years in the best universities, computer vision, blah, 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 but it's all work in progress. Another interesting thing is like when I come from the tech space and then got into the fashion space, and when we were building in this technology, a lot of times I realized the researchers that are working on these technologies have no idea like what the fashion industry wants or thinks about. And the comment Barbara just made is like, if you have no skill in real textile and clothing, digital can't work. I mean, it's like, yes, you like any of these new technologies we're seeing with even generative AI. Like, if you are not a good artist, your outcome using Gen AI is not going to be great. It's all like, if you're not an expert, sadly or happily, the AI is not going to make you an expert. It's just a tool like anything else.
Yeah. It's a creation tool. And again, I think there's lots of AI tools like Midjourney, and there's other like content creation tools, and they're great. You could create X amount of images a second, or say an hour per se. But then you've got to sift through them, and then you've got to re-prompt them, and then you've got to think about how you're even going to produce them, because that is not thinking about that for you. Doesn't even have a back image. It's kind of doing a part of it, but it's there's a lot of Gen I out there, isn't there? And it's a different skill set. As you said, it's really involving like prompt engineering.
Yeah.
And it takes hours of work to be able to be like a skilled AI designer.
Totally. Yemi, I know you've been on both sides. Would you like to add anything?
I just remembered Ope's
Yeah.
collection that won the first AI Fashion Week.
Yeah.
And I remember her saying that I had to prompt one of the pieces, like she had 100 iterations of that same cloth, the back, the side, the front, that because Revo, who was going to prototype, were like,
Yeah.
we need to see the rest of this. Like, where's the back? We can't just figure it out. I'm like, do something with the back. Like, no, probably like you had 100 iterations of just one design, and then you generally haven't really
We lost your audio again. Sorry.
Mm.
But I think basically the challenge is that people think it's so easy to do something with AI, but it's really not. If you're doing something really good, it is not easy, and that is very interesting. So let's also quickly talk about gaming a little bit more. We had a comment from Ian. GameFi is how we offer branding opportunities in games, directly creating branded level skins, for example, a win-win layering Web3 tokenomics use case. So in terms of the gaming side and all of this new generation demand that you've seen, Louis, what do you predict happens in the next few years to the fashion industry?
God, that's really interesting. I mean, I guess we've got two different heads on here, haven't we? So, I really think with Digital Twin, which is a totally different business to FiGen, where we're trying to automate the pipeline. This is I really want to, I really would love and to see more people in the space doing digital first collections, digital first. And brands especially, I do think there's like a great opportunity for them to partner with creators, UGC creators, create new collections. It can be part of a separate business for them, even like it can be like a sub business, so it doesn't affect their normal supply chain. I don't know how much we can really not change brands supply chains in their production systems. It's so ingrained, and there's too much change management to kind of try to tackle that. So it's like, let's think about like the easy wins, how we can do sub brands, little collaborations, like fun things that can drive revenue, create hype, create extra demand, but still be moving in the direction that's much more profitability meets sustainability. And maybe as that grows, brands see the benefits, they can put more of their resource into this innovation area. But it's going to take time for brands.
Yes. I love how realistic and kind of down to earth you are about this situation, because a lot of times we're so excited, we're like, oh yeah, we were gonna revolutionize the fashion industry. Like, it's not gonna happen overnight. There's so many people that have been doing this for their generations, and so and they are so set in their ways. Like, as you said, the best they can do is like a collaboration here, a collaboration there. Like,
exactly. Just think about Elf Beauty, for example. Elf are really, really big in Roblox. There's like a great opportunity for them to like launch into other product categories in a sustainable way. Launch out of beauty, or for brands that don't do beauty to launch into that from a digital perspective. I think that's the way I see these opportunities, aside from obviously the music, which is very exciting, and we're heading in that direction with artists as well, because I do think that this "let's put a print on a t-shirt" is just so ripe for change.
Yeah. And Ian, one of our amazing community members, is an artist, musician, so you guys should probably talk. He has his own amazing sneaker company too, Sneaker Tech. Yemi, why don't you add to what Louis said about the prediction of the future? I personally think it's going to be new brands revolutionizing the industry, not necessarily just relying on the old brands. What do you think, Yemi?
Oh, I think the Gen Alphas and the Gen XZs are coming for us, and they are the generation that does not care about luxury. They don't care about brands. These guys are very individualistic in the way that they style. I think that there's an age coming for not just user generated within the gaming world, within the user generated within the fashion world. Like, people are going to wear people that they like, and they will not care if the person has a name or does not own any kind of company. They will be happy to wear it. I also see that I see retail fashion being a bit more 3D, hopefully, where we're able to start to cast these 3D assets like holographic, virtual try-ons, where we're able to see it while we are really walking, have real fashion shows. As soon as we have AR glasses that are like 50 quid, I'm sure we can get that going. Just waiting for technology to really become mass adoptable so that we can, because I think the technology, everything we want to do already exists. It's just that it's not talking to each other. They are not
Yeah.
interoperable yet. Like
Yeah.
everything we need is right here. We just need to fit almost like a jigsaw puzzle. Like what fits with that? What can we use with this?
Yeah.
But the 3D assets will be the most basic of anything that any brand has to own a 3D asset. And if you own a 3D asset, then that revenue stream opens up for you, like being able to trade with the generation that is going to determine the next 100 years of our spending culture. We need to start to target them, and we know that they are not in stores, they are in Roblox. My daughter is in Roblox. I'm constantly telling her, start creating. You can't keep on consuming content, you know. And she's like, Mommy, I'm not ready. I'm like, make money.
I know. I
Monetize.
said the same when I went to RDC, the Roblox Developers Conference in San Francisco, and I met some amazing developers. Actually, what I really liked and really touched me as well is also, you know, like there's quite, you know, neurodiverse gaming developer, female, and like just it's just incredible like how she's managed to make herself a really successful game, and like this kind of without UGC platforms like that would have been more challenging for her to be able to be so sort of successful in this space. It just kind of is just amazing how it breaks down the barriers and enables these opportunities for people. I said to my daughters, like, come on girls, you know, like get going, but they're not interested in that. Another thing I'm working on is trying to get more girls into tech because they're teenagers and they don't want to take tech GCSEs. So I'm working with the school, and if I had more time, I'd love to do more work on it because there is a big resistance for women to go into tech, to go into developing.
Yes, I
Well,
mean,
not women, girls, actually, you know, because if we don't get it at that age, then, you know, they're certainly not, well, we pivoted, but less
have you
likely.
seen the organization that Carly Class has created, Code with Classy, something, Code with Carly?
No.
I will share with that with you. You know,
Please.
Carly, she's huge in fashion, great supermodel. And she started this code academy because she didn't have the education in tech, but her dad, I think, was a software engineer. And then like she started learning codes. And then, you know, as she built up her wealth through fashion, then she wanted to kind of bring in kind of like what you're talking about, bring more women into this area. And she started this foundation teaching girls how to code. And so
I love it.
yeah, really powerful.
Yeah, it's really powerful because also now we're thinking about like AI and ML and how like we'll have no code, like the skill sets won't have to be so hardcore development. Like there'll be a different skill required from girls when they become like female entrepreneurs. It's more about having the confidence to be an entrepreneur, having the thinking you can do it. And I think that every girl goes back to the image of a scientist or someone in data scientist is a guy who's 60 with a white coat on. So let's like try to change this and like give them the power to believe that they can be these, you know, female entrepreneurs. They might not even have to know too much about tech, but have the confidence to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I have masters in electrical engineering, but honestly, the only thing that really I can say it helped me was the problem-solving mindset. The way I look at things is different. And so, yes, it's not going to be necessarily you're going to use that on your daily basis, but it's like that confidence, that, you know, different perspective that you're bringing is just worth it. And having that foundation built early on is so important. So thank you for caring for this cause and supporting it. This is amazing. We should definitely, like we always say, like keep the door open for the next one, for the next people to come in and change the world. Yemi, would you like to add anything?
I am just here, just like finally we are getting more traction in the industry, and I think with the DPP product, the DPP passport bill that is about to go live, I feel that it's going to force the fashion industry to start to adopt, because we know that the digital product passport, we know one of the technologies that we'll be using will be blockchain. We know that one of the technologies they will be banking on will be digital assets, to be able to keep this data. And there are different brands in there out there that might not want to use QR codes, might want to have a digital asset instead. They don't want to break their luxury, their code. They want to still keep that and want to chip in it with like a simple QR codes. And we know that we're already deploying for that market. So it's like everybody get on board. But hopefully, once we start to push a bill through and we start to make it legislative, like everybody needs to get on board. We need your data. We need to know where you're sourcing. We need to know if you're practicing fair trade. We need to know who you're employing. Are you paying the right people the right fair wages? If you say you're sourcing sustainably, what is in it? How do we get rid of it at the end of the life cycle of these products? We need to know. And that's the good thing about the DPP. And I really cannot wait for us to start to pilot things in that line. And I'm glad that at least people like Louisa, they're already way ahead of the curve. So it will be a case of like, what's your excuse now? Like,
Yeah.
like what's your excuse? Like, go over there, go get it done, And well done,
Amazing.
anyways, for everything you've done. It's amazing how you've been able to
Likewise.
build this, traction.
I
So
think
keep going. I know the feeling of, and it's like they're not getting it. They are getting it. They will get it.
we can't make this change together. We will have to do, we can't alone, we have to do it together. And so everybody listening, everybody that's watching this obviously is interested in making change and how we can make the fashion industry more sustainable. So I think let's just like work together to make this happen. It's a
Yes.
big job ahead of us.
Teamwork. Yes, we have to all work together, the community. And I want to thank everyone who tuned in. Louis, why don't you tell us where people can find you? How can they support you? We are so amazed by everything you have done, and we know things are not going to happen. This great work that you're doing is not going to come out tomorrow. But in the meantime, how can we support you?
Oh, thank you. So you can follow me on LinkedIn, Louise Lang, on Instagram as well. And we also have a Digital Twin and Figen LinkedIn and a Digital Twin and Figen Instagram. We're on Twitter at Digital T, but I'm not a massive Twitter user. So LinkedIn is great. And thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate that.
Of course. Thank you for sharing your amazing experiences and insights. And Yemi, where people can find you and support you?
LinkedIn. I never thought I would ever say, but I'm a LinkedIn girl. I am very much always on LinkedIn. I do have my Instagram, but I am not there as often. LinkedIn for me, because this is helping to build that professional, credibility that we need in the industry to start to drive people to start to actually listen to what we're saying. So I'm on LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn.
Oh, yes, we have our amazing community on LinkedIn. Thank you, Felipe, Juliana, Ian, Havel, Barbara, and then we had Nova, Jean, so many amazing, lovely friends, Pramesh, that contributed today. And these comments are going to be available on the actual post. So Louis and Yemo, if you want to go back and respond to anyone, connect with them, we can all engage afterwards as well. And the recording is available. It's evergreen content. Hopefully I'll edit out those bad parts. But thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your insights. And, this is how we can all grow together. Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Yemi. I'm so grateful to have you all as friends and community.
Thank you so much, and have a lovely rest of the day, evening, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank